Hey there, vinyl community. This is Rich at Embarrassment of Riches. Got my wig freshly clipped and a beautiful spring day in southern Pennsylvania, which means that there's been nothing but house and garden projects for the last month, and it has prevented me from making any new videos, and man, I really miss it. And also, I'm not commenting on as many VC videos as I used to, because now I watch most of them in the living room on the big TV, and I can't comment from the remote on that thing. So I really need to be better about coming back to YouTube and commenting and thanking everybody for posting their newest videos, because I do always watch, man. I watch a lot of VC videos and they're always good. It's why I wanted to be part of this thing 2 years ago when I made my first video. So this will be the catch up for March new pickups and some for April, and a few thoughts on Record Store Day 2025. Yeah, I got a couple thoughts. But let us begin first and foremost with the most recent pickups that I think are interesting. And of course, this one is near the top of my list. It is My Name Is My Name by Pusha T. It's a repress, and Def Jam Recordings released an email about 6 months ago saying they were going to make 1,200 of these bad boys. And although it's not my favorite Pusha record, it's a great one. There's nothing wrong with it. There was a clincher, though, that I'm going to show here in a minute, but they only made 1,200 of these and they sold out in minutes. And for the next couple months, it was people asking like $100 for this, which just wasn't going to happen. So as usual, my cheap ass kind of waits it out and sees who comes down the furthest, the quickest. And I got this, I think, for just about a couple of bucks more than it went for off the Def Jam site originally. Perfect. And if I see these things when they're released and they're too expensive, all I have to do is wait a little while. This is my new calmer collecting focus, where I don't just buy something as soon as I see it because I'm afraid I'll never see it again. Because everything for sale, as far as vinyl is concerned, comes around again. All you gotta do is be willing to wait. It's nice to be first, and I get that. But, you know, in the end, all that matters is you end up with it in your collection if it's a record that you really, truly do love. And I needed this one for my Pusha T collection. I'll show you the kicker here, though, that did make me finally bite the bullet. Now, this record came with a limited edition card with a picture of Pusha T right there. Pretty dope. But man, if they were to decide to do Public Enemy or Beastie Boys, there's a chance of your boy going broke on these things. Liking this record more and more now that I have it. It still doesn't beat It's Almost Dry. I mean, it's not his best solo, but hell, there's a card. Up next is the only record I received from Vinyl Me Please last month, because I pared down my subscription to one record and then went to cancel it. I finally canceled after 2 years of hemming and hawing about it and hoping that they'd eventually right the ship, and they just continually shit the bed. It's a shame. I can't wait for the post-mortem and the business classes are going to teach for how to ruin a company so fast, but it was a little bittersweet to hit that cancel button. I'm paid through June or July, I think, because I was on the three-month tier. Yeah, kind of sucks, but it does allow me to get some of the stuff I really liked on the way out, because what they're releasing now is just hot turds. So I got another copy of their 40th anniversary release of Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska. One of my favorite, well, actually my favorite Springsteen record, but one of my favorite records all around if I'm in that kind of mood. And really, that mid-70s was a time. I mean, there was the singer alone with a guitar and just taking over an album and making it beautiful. There's this and Redheaded Stranger and damn near anything Jim Croce recorded while he was alive. Yeah, great one. This is my second copy of this. This will be a backup, because I do enjoy playing the first one, and I am prone to being clumsy. So, Nebraska, Vinyl Me Please, on my way out. It's been real. This being the vinyl community, after all, there are a lot of videos where people are talking about their grail records. Now, that can generally mean something that's been very hard to find or something that's super expensive. I try to keep my grails more realistic nowadays because of my laser focus that I now possess in my collecting. I'm no longer just buying everything that I see that I even marginally want just to fill out the collection. But I did find one in March that I had been looking for a long time. Discogs has it at maybe $10, and it rarely comes up for sale, and it's not a very popular one, except it always was a record that I enjoyed. Inexplicable, never could find it, and one time it was on eBay a couple of years ago, and I lost it because I wasn't willing to go to a certain amount of money, and this time I was. So there's at least two of us out there really pining for this record. And it is 3 Strange Days from School of Fish, 1991, I believe. Not many people are going to recognize this one. It wasn't particularly a hit, but it was an earworm at the time, and I still listen to this song to this day. The album it came off of is really pretty good too for early mid-90s alternative music, college radio oriented, etc. I don't know, man. Something about this song I really liked, and the fact that it was not really lauded in being an expensive record, but being impossible to find, really kind of pissed me off for a few years. So, very glad to have this one in the collection, and it sounds great. I don't know if this album was ever released on vinyl. I have the CD for it, and it's got a couple of really catchy songs on it. I'm gonna have to look up on Discogs and see if this was ever put on vinyl, the whole album. But glad to have this one, for real, going in the shelves. Next up in this episode of Rich finding old records he's been looking for a long time is this one with a story that, if you believe the legend goes, that I bought just the record without the cover about 8 years ago because the complete package of the record and the cover altogether in decent condition was way too much money. And one day I just happened to see the vinyl on eBay alone in great condition for about a fifth of what the total package comes for. So I buy that thinking it's only a matter of time before I find the cover. You know, somebody's going to just sell only the cover. And I've had it as a thing on my watch list on eBay for the last 8 years, and I think once it's come up and somebody swooped it at a price that was ridiculous. So there's a couple of us in this position, I'm imagining. Either way, for 8 years, Death Certificate, original pressing by Ice Cube, has been sitting in my collection. It's a great record. You know, I'd rather have the record and not the cover than vice versa. But most recently, Death Certificate, original, man, you can imagine 8 years of waiting, because this thing in VG Plus, both cover and record, is easily over $100 every time I see it. What I did this time was bought a terribly scratched up version and a decent cover for my other one. For the total of this one and the original together is still less than half of what it would cost for me to buy a VG Plus of both altogether at once. So if you've got 8 years of spare time to look for a certain record in your collection that you really, really, really want, and now I'm looking for Predator because those are my, the first 3 Ice Cube albums are 3 of the best hip-hop records ever made. So I'm happy to have this one. I fucking hate looking at feet though. Yeah, I might turn this around and just have that be on the front. Awesome. This has been a month or so of getting records that I've wanted for a long, long time and just finally lucking into the right price and availability. It's been pretty good so far. It's also been pretty good recently for roots reggae records that I've been wanting. This one has been on the want list for a while, but like a lot of Jamaican records that were pressed and printed in Jamaica in the 1970s, condition is variable and you got to be a little bit flexible sometimes. I usually do not get too flexible on the vinyl because I don't need anything so bad that it sounds like shit on my turntable. But Stand Up to Your Judgment from the Mighty Diamonds is worth it. This version in particular is kind of toe up. It's fine. I'll take this because the vinyl itself is looking pretty sweet. And this one has got Payaka, Stand Up to Your Judgment, the title track. Stoned Out of My Mind, which is a song that a few of us can probably relate to very well. Good vibes on the Mighty Diamonds. Always excellent listening. I really don't think I'm going to look for an upgrade anytime soon because, man, like I said, I've seen very few records straight from Jamaica that make it all the way over here, 50 years old, without some degree of problems. And as I speak on that, there was fucking pieces of paper falling from the jacket onto my lap. That's how it goes. But this is eminently playable and enjoyable. Yeah, I think the price was right. There's some really good sellers on eBay now with vintage roots reggae vinyl, which is a sickly competitive field to get into if you're looking for these records. I mean, you better be prepared to spend. So I've really learned to focus on a couple instead of like a dozen and follow them. And then at the very end, just start blindly hitting the button for the highest bid, saving a bit of money that way. And still ending up with things in my collection that I love. And that's the whole point of this. Continuing on with the goodness of records that I've wanted for a while that have found their way to my collection in the last couple months. This particular one was one I avoided buying for a few years. It was a bit cost prohibitive. It generally around $100 for an EP, which is really, really steep. Its rarity, of course, played into that because it was only sent out to top DJs at radio stations around the country, or at least that was the blurb at the time. I've seen a lot, and then you find out how heavily booted this thing has been for the last 30 plus years. So now, even though the OG has come down about half in cost, I still have to be very wary of looking at it because the represses are most all boots. And so, Clear Lake Auditorium from De La. Such a great record. Revelatory at the time. They were on such a hot streak with Balloon Mind State, and then later with Stakes is High. It was hit after hit after hit. And the B-sides were dope too. I'm not sure how in love I am with the green gel shit. And I had really not planned on buying this when they sent the email talking about the pre-orders. It wasn't going to be limited or anything. And now the OGs are cheaper. But I like the idea that they have all the rights to their songs now. So instead of all that money from the past that I ended up putting in the pockets of Tommy Boy, this is actually going to De La. So that made it a bit easier. Wanted it anyway. I think it was about $27, $30, which is pretty steep for an EP. But I mean, it's got I Am, I Be, In the Woods. It's a great record, and it's a nice one to have in the collection. And it's nice, like I said, to be putting money in their pockets instead of some corrupt. I also find myself slowly chipping away at a 12-inch single collection that I decided was going to be a focus in the next year. One of my favorite all-time artists, Peter Gabriel. This is the 12-inch for I Don't Remember, which is a good enough song if you know Peter Gabriel. But one of the main reasons I bought this before a lot of the other 12 inches is because the B-side has my favorite song of his from that era, which is Salisbury Hill, of the original first couple albums era, Peter Gabriel. This is a great record. Interesting label with picture of Pete right there. So now I have 4 of the 12-inch singles, and I think there's maybe 40 to go. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to finish it this year, but we collect to make these things complete. So yeah, I'm not in any real kind of hurry about it. I'm just stoked to have it. This thing is in great condition. Suitably weird picture of Peter on the cover because why not? I mean, The litmus test for how good a Peter Gabriel record is how much my wife is disgusted by the cover. That's usually what I go by. And yeah, this will do it. This will give her nightmares. Sorry, dear. And another of those 50-50 type months for the Interscope Vinyl Collective, which I just don't cancel anymore because the ones that I get from them that I just don't want in my collection and can't find a way to liking, I can sell pretty easy for at least as much as I paid for, and oftentimes multiples. And this falls under that. Chief Keef, Finally Rich. I mean, I love the album title, you know. It's good to be rich. But, yeah, I've got MP3s of this I've had for a while, and, you know, doesn't do it for me. But eBay store. I'll leave a link later. Oh, yeah, there was one more from Vinyl Me Please that I forgot. There was the record of the month a few months ago, and I didn't get a chance to test it out beforehand, and then I listened a month after it came out, and I'm not really big into the blues, or I'm not very knowledgeable of the blues. I think that's a far more accurate statement. But this is Hound Dog Taylor and the House Rockers with Natural Boogie. I listened to a few cuts off of this, and I actually really like it. I think it's worth having. And I'm glad I got it before the whole thing went up in smoke, because they are seemingly not filling orders and not giving refunds as the ship is sinking. So, you know, glad I got one before the end times. And here's the newest one from one of my favorite artists. Sorry, but I'm sweating in here. It is a bit warm to be wearing a sweatshirt, but I did get a new Bugs Bunny sweatshirt, and I'm going to wear this even if it's 100 degrees because it is Bugs Bunny. This artist here, I will buy anything he releases and any permutation. It's Jason Isbell's new record, Foxes in the Snow, which I haven't opened it yet, but I've been listening to the FLAC files, I think, that came with it, or in high-grade MP3s, I can't remember which one. But there is no Jason Isbell record that I do not enjoy. That's simple. I will buy them blind without hearing anything anyway. Definitely looking forward to hearing this one. I mean, shit, I could probably do that tonight. And it's on some fly-ass red vinyl as well. Yeah, I really look forward to everything. He is never disappointed. And you know what? I'm going to throw this one on right now. And thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. I will get back to, like I said earlier in the video, leaving comments on all my friends' videos because they're doing great work. And I leave a thumbs up every time, but I know that doesn't really mean shit. Because it's the comments is one of the reasons we really do this, is to engage with other people in the vinyl community. God, man, it's hot in here. So, hope everybody's having a great springtime wherever you're at. And I'm going to keep watching for your videos too. If you haven't made one yet and you're only a watcher, put your phone up on a stand and start talking to do it, and show us all of your records, or show us the things that you're most passionate about, because we care. And there are people here who want to talk about it. I'll see you guys next time. It's great. No, it's not great. This being the vinyl community, but let us be, no. Sometimes these things go to happen. Fuck. Expensive to be a prerequisite. Fuck. So, thanks a lot for hanging out. So, motherfuck. It was also a banner month for be fucking talking stupid. You're really rolling the dice on any records. Fuck.